Hello, this is Nancy Feth and Courtney Newcomb here today to talk about wellness from the perspective of some really interesting thoughts. Courtney is the owner of Arrange South Shore, which is a fabulous business that goes into people's homes and helps them create comfortable spaces, helps them downsize, helps them do all kinds of things. So, Courtney, I'm so glad you could join us for the wellness
Thank you, Nancy.
consultation work today.
Thank you.
And let's just get started. So, how long have you been doing this?
So I've been doing this for 10 professional years, but for about 25 years, I've been helping friends and family with moves and downsizing and getting their homes ready for the market. My mom is an Episcopal minister, and when she was acting as interim rector for different churches, she would call me on the phone and she'd say, "Can you come to Virginia? Can you come to New York? Can you come to Connecticut?" And I would always move my mom and my dad into their next rectory.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
that's a lot of traveling. That's
yes, it is. And they didn't
well,
pay me for it either.
right,
Now
and
I'm paid.
so at first it's sort of like the daughter obligation, and then was there a little seed that was kind of coming in like, "Oh, actually, I like this. I'm good at
There
this."
was. So one of my best friends, her parents were moving into a local senior community. And she told me about a senior move manager that was helping them in the process of downsizing and decluttering and picking out the floor plan and getting things ready for their move. And I said, this is exactly what I want to do. This is a perfect fit for me. So I established my business in 2010 and was so excited but also nervous because my background is in social work, it's not in business. But
Mhm.
my husband said, if you have passion for anything, you can do this. And so I have the support of my family and of course my parents, because they seem to think that they're the ones that started my business, so
Well, I guess it doesn't cost too much to let them have that,
that's right.
that
They've
wonderful
gotten nothing
yay.
from me, trust me. They get a good pat on the back. Yes.
Yeah. It's interesting what you said about your background in social work. I've known you for a number of years and you have talked about that before. And I think
Right.
that is so wonderful because it's not just about stuff, right? We have a relationship, we have history, we have stories, we have traditions. All this stuff is tied to that. So, what is the most, I don't know, challenging or delicate or beautiful part around that when you're in that intimate space with people and helping them to transition? Because usually you're getting rid of stuff because there's a reason.
Right. So I have a couple different pieces to my business, and one aspect is hoarding. And I would say that my social work background comes in extremely well because people do have those attachments to things. They do feel that they need to hold on because everything has a value in their mind. And it's true, they're right, things do have value. So I've learned to work with different personalities, people of different backgrounds, people of different attachments, and sort of work with them through the process so that they feel like they're in control while I'm there. We do it together, we're one on one. But I want them to know that they're being heard, they're being understood. But at the same time, if there is an outcome such as a move, such as putting a house on the market, I'm sort of that angel devil person because I'm constantly reminding them of what the ultimate goal is. And people appreciate the fact that I'm really, really there for them and with them. And the energy that I have is helpful too. You know, I have a lot of energy and I do love what I do.
And you're very bright. Like you bring a lot of light, a lot of
I
joy,
thought
a
you
lot
meant
of,
smart.
well, you do. You come across like we can do this. It's okay. Come on, I got it. I'm with you. Like I really get that about you. And I asked you to join this series because this is about wellness in a lot of different areas, different dimensions of wellness. And I don't think people realize how much environment, how much social, emotional, mental, physical, all relates. And our home, our space is that place where it all kind of comes together, right? All of it. Like we have our experiences, we create our environments, we do all that. And then when you have to let that go, or even if you're just going through a shift and saying, I need to create space for a new chapter to happen, that can be challenging. I know personally, I've experienced that many times in my life. And
Right.
um, I can see how just having a trusted person that kind of holds that stake in the ground, like this is where we're going, this
Right.
is why, and gently reminds people can facilitate the process.
Right. Well, I tend to be a cheerleader sometimes because
Mhm.
I do need to be motivational. I do need to keep them on track and on task. And, I'm 55 and I've moved 26 times.
Oh,
So,
wow.
and that's just personally, that has nothing to do with my professional moves. I've done hundreds of moves at this point. So
Mhm.
it's really important that they understand that I get the stress, I get the emotional component because it's so important. It's so important that especially the older clients that I have really feel like they're being heard, that they're being
Mhm.
paid attention to, that I hear their stories and why they have the things that they have. And I've been very blessed. I really have. I've had so many people that I've come into my life that I've been able to help, and I feel really good about that. So
Oh my gosh, I can imagine you're just showing them there's light on the other side. You're going to make
that's
it
right.
through this.
That's
You
right.
can do this. You can do it again. And especially when
Exactly.
people have loss, they've got loss
Yes,
sometimes associated with that. And it's hard. It's a hard thing to let go of people and loved ones and places.
for
So
sure.
is there a part of your business that really brings you joy? Like that you really hold on one second, someone's trying to call in. We're gonna not have that. Um, is there a
Don't
part
interrupt
like,
me, people.
a type of job or anything like that that really just feels sweet, like feels like it's your lane, the kind of work you love to do and that you'd really love to do more of?
Well, my favorite by far is anyone moving of any age.
Mm.
I love that process. I love the downsizing piece. I love working with clean out companies. I love going through cabinets and drawers and closets. I donate all my clients usable items. I put them in my car and I donate them that day. And they
Mm.
love that. They love things are being repurposed. I love to unpack and get people settled into their
Oh, good.
new
I'm gonna remember
places.
that. I'm gonna remember that.
I love it. I love hanging pictures. I love sort of designing and decorating and making things look really pretty. In fact, I ran into someone at a community today and she said to me, Courtney, you moved me here 5 years ago. And I still remember how you made me feel so comfortable right
Mhm.
away. And that's what's really important. I want people to feel not that they've lost their home, but they have a new home and that they
Mhm.
feel really comfortable and content in that new space because that's really important. We all love our home, it's our sanctuary, and I want people of all ages to feel that way. So,
Well, there's an interesting thing there about the continuity between you showing up and helping them through that letting go, and
right,
then planting that seed in the new place.
that's
And
right.
they're like, okay, I still have Courtney. And she's not family with their own agenda.
Yes,
She's not like everybody else's opinion. It's someone that's actually holding what they want to accomplish for them. And that is not an easy thing to find in today,
right.
in today's
Thank
day and
you.
age. Unless you're really working with like you're like essentially a coach as well as a worker. um,
I've been a marriage counselor too, trust
oh
me.
well, there you go.
I'm telling you, I've had clients say, "You've saved our marriage, Courtney." Because I go in there and I'm like, "Listen, you guys can't argue in front of me. I'm not a kid here." And it's fun for me though, because
Yeah.
it lightens it up a little bit because it can be really intense sometimes.
Oh yeah,
I
for
want
sure.
people to know that it's it can seem insurmountable, especially if they've lived in their houses for 30, 40, 50, 60 years. I personally can't identify with that because I've
Mhm,
never lived in a house that long.
mhm,
But, you know, people go from one home down to a much smaller home. There's a lot of decisions, a lot of things to figure out. And I'm good at that. I really
mhm,
am. I'm good at that. And
mhm,
sometimes adult children live too far away. They can't come home,
mhm.
or the husband's working, or both people are working and they've got young kids, and I'm there trying to pack and help them figure it out. So,
Oh wow, yeah, that makes sense. So, do you think that there's anything coming from all this experience that you've had, both in terms of your own personal moves and all your clients' moves, that you would love people to know in terms of how to live and be in relationship with their things on an ongoing basis? I mean, are there tips and tools that you can share about, like, hey, just think about this when you're doing that, or something, just something you've learned that maybe, without them just saying, I'm ready to make the move, they could actually start to feel a little bit more spaciousness, a little bit more organization and things. And begin to work that process. And then if they feel like, calling you, then they reach out.
Right. Well, I think one of the things people struggle with the most are things that family members have given them.
Mm.
And that's been really difficult. So I often recommend take pictures of things and start a little book with that. I also remind people that we all probably have too much stuff anyway, and really be mindful of what are we really using? What do we really need? And don't forget, things don't just get thrown away. I make sure things as best as I can get repurposed.
Mhm.
You know, when I am moving and helping people downsize, I always say start in the non living areas, your attics, your basements, your garages, where, we just sort of throw things up there, forget it's there. And then when it comes time to moving, it feels overwhelming. But go through all those spaces. And when you're starting your new sanctuary, keep things that are really special to you, make it really true to who you are.
Mm.
And if you have, great grandma's old china from 1926, if you think it's ugly, it probably is ugly. Donate it, get rid of it. So don't keep holding on to things out of guilt. Don't keep holding on to things just because they're here. Let it go. It's really freeing. People tell me all the time how freeing it is to let go. It's
Mhm.
amazing. And then you have more time for other things. And
Oh,
don't
yeah.
we want more time to do other things?
Yeah, and I bet when they do that, they actually have some processing time that goes on with that, letting go and then, like, living into that and going, "Okay, I'm ready for more,"
Yes,
and
yes,
yeah,
absolutely. They're
bring
ready
that
for more.
energy.
Yes.
Awesome.
I had a woman in Rhode Island many years ago, and she had suddenly lost her husband, and she wrote for a local publication, and she called me her decluttering angel or something along those lines. And I went in after he passed, and we went through room to room to room. And at first, it was incredibly emotional, of course.
Mhm.
But once we continued the process, she really felt a huge release,
Mhm.
in a good way,
Mhm.
and that she keeps certain things of his, but she did let go of a lot, and she feels lighter and kind of
Oh,
freer. But that does not mean his memory is gone. It just
right,
means stuff is,
right.
and she was okay with that. So,
That is such a beautiful story, and
well,
that piece you said about taking pictures, I just tucked that away and I thought, "Wow, that's really nice," because
yeah,
sometimes you still wanna go back to that place because there's an emotion that happens when you
correct.
experience objects, right? And
Correct.
you can go back and look at it and just store those virtually. That doesn't even have to be a book anymore, which is great,
Exactly.
you know?
Exactly. That's very true. That's
Yeah.
very true.
So, Courtney, how will people get in touch with you if they wanted to work with you and just, have a consultation or just learn more about what you do? What's the best way for people to find you?
Well, you can look me up on the web at arrangedsouthshore.com. You can give me a call at 617-794-1327, or text me. I do offer complimentary consultation. I live in Marshfield. I travel pretty locally, 30 to 40 miles I'm willing to go round trip.
Mhm.
And I would love to have conversations with anyone that has questions about our services or just needs to meet me and see if I can help you out in your home.
Mm, that sounds so good.
Well, thank you, Nancy.
Yeah, I'm smiling with such great heart. I've experienced so many people that have lost loved ones or are in that transition, or people are in the hospital and they feel really overwhelmed. And it's nice to know that you do this kind of work and that it's something that's joyful for you because I can already feel the energy that you bring
Thank
when
you.
you go with your clients is a true gift for them. And I think they'll remember that. Like they'll remember as they're healing on the other side of that transition, that major life event, that like, wow, there was somebody there really with kindness and compassion who really cared and helped me through it. And I feel stronger for it. And I think they're more equipped to deal with whatever else comes down because they've had that success with you. So
Thank you.
I just think you're doing really great work. And I love that you are targeting the senior or anybody moving as a focal point because I think that's something that can easily just with all the to-dos just get pushed to the side and get sloppy and just be the thing that takes you down to
Right.
exhaustion, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
So any closing remarks, what you'd like people to
No,
take
I just
away?
I appreciate what you just said, and it works both ways because it's an emotional impact for me too in a good way.
Mm.
I really do feel like I'm meant to do this work, and I feel that I'm meant to meet the people that I've met over the last 11 years. So, it's truly my honor to help people out, and I really love it. I don't love it every day,
I'm sure.
but and I have had some challenges for sure, but you know what? That's the way it goes, and you grow from that too. So I'm
Mhm.
truly grateful, and thank you so much, Nancy. This has been awesome.
You
I
are most
appreciate it.
welcome, and thank you again for the work you're doing and for saying yes.
You're
Take care.
welcome.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.